Central Africa, the show that serves you with the best content, quite informative, and looking at what is making headlines, what are we waking up to as far as the news are concerned, the few articles and what has been enlisted in the dailies today. That is what we'll be discussing this morning on our first segment of the show. I'll be delving deeper into the headlines, and in our second segment is all about the conversation of the day. And today's conversation, it's all about matters to do with the politics, and it's quite a season of political margin and creation of coalitions, and we want to understand what does it mean going forward. There are some of the few coalitions that we've just seen being made here and there. The recent one being that of Deputy President William Ruto together with the ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and his co-brother, that is Mr. Moses Wetangula. Who exactly is going to carry out the day, and what does these coalitions mean? We'll be digging deeper into that in more details. Of course, our second segment of the show, I'll be engaging one gentleman who is the current ANC Youth Secretary in Mombasa County. I'll be engaging Francis Almond together with Mr. Gordon, who will be joining me in studio here to shed more light concerning matters about the politics and how it is a season of coalitions. That conversation will be coming your way in our second segment of the show, but that will be coming after I'm done by looking at what is making headlines in the dailies. My name is Shadrack Ogega this morning, and my sign language interpreter is Felix Otieno. And together we will be steering this wheel in the next couple of minutes, 90 minutes or so, trying to give you what we normally do best here Fridays. And as usual, Friday is normally that time that we usher your weekend in style, and we'll be also looking at some of the few entertainment stories that have made the headline, looking at what is also mentioned in the Pulse newspaper this morning, and as well as the Nairobian. So you can brace yourself for amazing content out from whatever is happening within the alliance, slowly picking up its pieces after a fallout with ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi. That's why we are asking you this morning, whom do you feel and which coalition do you feel has the agendas and manifestos of the common wananchi? Which one do you feel resonates well with you? Talk to us, share your thoughts. The number is below your screen like I mentioned. That same number you can use to either text us on normal text messaging, or you can also use that to get to our WhatsApp number. And those of you who are watching us on internet through Facebook and the website link, you can do so also by dropping your comment on the comment section, and we will be sampling your views as we get along with the program. My guest, two gentlemen, they will be talking to me about matters of politics, specific how they feel the coalitions are slowly taking up shape. That is one, the current Youth ANC Secretary General here in Mombasa. That is quite a gentleman who understands matters of politics here in his capacity as the current Youth Secretary General in Mombasa is Francis Almond, together with Mr. Gordon, who will be joining me also to shed more light about the same. That is what we'll be discussing. But now, let's look at what is making headline in just 15 minutes before I wrap it up here. And getting into the front page of the Daily Nation this morning, looking at what we are waking up to as far as the Daily Nation is concerned. And it says here, Uhuru throws race wide open after, signing into law the current political parties amendment bill. And it's a season of coalitions. Yes, that is what is being said on the front page of the Daily Nation. And a picture there of the UDA party leader William Ruto, the ODM leader Raila Odinga, together with other leaders in the country who are the front runners up to the general election. And a political parties bill signed into law by President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday has opened a new battlefront that will see each of the current three major formations, that is the Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Alliance, and Kenya Kwanza, jostling to form the most formidable coalition party and deliver an electoral win. The law, which was initially thought to favor ODM leader Raila Odinga's Azimio, has thrown a lifeline to his opponents who will use it to forge alliances. And that is what is playing out on page 4 of the Daily Nation. All matters pertaining to formation of coalition, you can find that on page 4. You can read more of it to get updated. And remember, that will be the base of our discussion this morning in relation to the formation of coalitions ahead of the August polls. And also shifting gears into another matter here, staying still on what is happening on politics, Kiunjuri's dwindling fortunes. And we are told here that barely 5 years ago, Mwangi Kiunjuri sat on the right-hand side of power, but things have changed, and the political career of the former agriculture minister seems to be on on a downward trajectory. And that is a story on page 7, and this, it talks about the journey of the political journey of former agriculture CS Mwangi Kiunjuri, who is the current party leader of the TSP, that is the TSP party, and he has been quite vocal on matters about politics and also how he seeks to be relevant, especially in the August polls. That is what is happening on page 7. Now, to some sad news here. Yesterday, remember, we woke up to the shocking revelations of the death and demise of Adio Juma. And this is quite a sports cheerleader, quite renowned. He was also a very good fan of Harambee Stars and the FC Leopards. And yesterday, we are told that he was murdered brutally, and the attacker slashed him several times, and of course, inflicting deep wounds into his head. And that is what is happening this morning on page 49 of the 49 of the Daily Nation. You can check that out as well, read more of it to get updated. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, what we are doing this morning is all about matters of newspaper review, as we also look forward to an amazing conversation just ahead. But that story concerning the death of this gentleman, you can find that on page 49 of the Daily Nation. Page 49 of the Daily Nation. Now, on to matters about the NHIF. Private hospitals issue threats to withhold services, and that is what is happening on the back page of the Daily Nation. And this is an uproar over what NHIF are terming as unfair treatment as a result of the government trying to pay less to the private hospitals compared to the public hospitals. And the hospital's insurance fund will, not be allowed in private hospitals due to the fact that they feel that the government pumps little compared to the amount that is pumped into the public hospitals. So that is what is happening on the back page. But last but not least, on one article here on the front page of the Daily Nation, talking about devolution in itself, on page 12, is that counties which spent zero on development, and there's quite a list of counties that have been named to have spent zero on development, and development projects were allocated nearly 3.5 billion, which was not used and utilized properly. So that is what is playing out on page 12 of the Daily Nation. You can check that out, read more of whatever is there to get updated. Remember, ours is to just touch a little bit concerning that, and it's upon you now to grab your copy and read whatever is enlisted. Now, straight into looking at what is also making headline in the Standard. Allow me to go straight by looking at what is making headline in the Standard newspaper. And on the front page of the Standard, it's quite a hot contest for running mates gather steam. And the Standard this morning looks at how it's quite a difficult situation for the two most contestants in the 2022 general election, that is 7 months away. And who is the fairest is the question being asked here on the front page of the Standard. And looking at what is explained below there is that Raila, Ruto and Kalonzo will pick their respective running mate from Mount Kenya is no secret, but the question on everyone's lips is, of all the top contestants, who is the best suited to energize their tickets? And that is a story on page 6. But I want to give you a few names that have been listed here to be, running mates for each, and the potential running mates from Mount Kenya. On the UDA side of the Deputy President, we have Rigathi Gachagua, who is the current Madeira Member of Parliament. We also have Mwangi Kiunjuri, the former Agriculture CS. We have Anne Waiguru, the current Governor for Kirinyaga. And we have Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi. Those are some of the few names that have been fronted as potential running mates for Deputy President William Ruto, especially from the Mount Kenya region. And on the side of Raila Odinga, we have Ndiritu Mureithi, who is the Laikipia governor. We have Peter Kenneth, the former assistant minister, who has been has also played on the national politics, having to contest over the presidency in 2013. We also have Martha Karua, a long-serving member of parliament and former minister, and he has been quite key in the politics of the country. And last but not least, we have the outspoken CS Peter Munya, who was once the Meru governor. So those are some of the potential running mates over the DP and the ODM leader Raila Odinga. But on page 7, on the same matter, we are told that Nyoro fronted as Ruto's possible running mate. And this is the Member of Parliament of Kiharu constituency, Ndindi Nyoro, who is trying to be fronted also as a potential running mate for Ruto. And this tells you that the two gentlemen, that is Deputy President William Ruto and the ODM leader Raila Odinga, are quite having a hard time to see who they're gonna pick to be the running mates, and also looking into how the matrix of the winning of election will be playing out in relation to who is going to assist them to get a win out from the election. So that is what is happening here on page 6 of the Standard. Prepare for a tough race, Kalonzo warns rivals. And this is the Wiper leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, together with the others. And the others here mentioned, we have businessman Jimmy Wanjigi and KANU chairman Gideon Moi, together with UDP's Cyrus Jirongo, where they were at Kabati Market, Kitui County yesterday, where they told off their rivals that they will not take things lying low and they should brace themselves for a tough race ahead of the general election as well. And this is the third force within which the One Kenya Alliance operates. And they are saying, even though there was a fallout with the ANC party leader, they are into the race, and they will make sure they give quite a tough race indeed. So that is what is happening here on the front page of the Standard. On top there, we're told that all set for 8 billion Likoni Homes project to kick off. And this is a story on page 21. Allow me to get to page 21 to give you more details concerning this. It's quite an interesting matter, particularly here in the coastal region and in Mombasa County, looking at how the county government of Mombasa is trying to create and begin projects of building quality and standard houses at affordable prices. And the project here, that is the Likoni housing project, is set to construct 3,200 new housing units in partnership between the county government and a private developer. And tenants have been paying the county between 2,000 and 4,000 in a monthly rent. But right now, there is a public participation forum that has begun, and I believe this is the second day of the said forum, where they're taking views in relation to that project. And this is just like the one that we had previously at the Buxton area. But also looking at the Chief Officer for Land and Housing, June Mwajuma, says that we have given the tenants time to organize themselves, including finding new houses and schools for their children. as they are seeking to make them vacate the houses before that project begins. So that is quite a matter on page 21 of the Standard. You can read more of whatever is enlisted there to get updated. Now, before I even look to another newspaper, remember every Friday we have Pulse Pullout inside the Standard. And today's Pulse Pullout it takes a time to, look at and auditing the Jubilee's performance in arts. And this pullout, it normally takes time to, give you some few articles and news inside the entertainment industry, looking at some of matters within the fashion industry and what is happening also in the different entertainment industry, talking about specific, looking at how the Jubilee government performed in relation to art in the country. So that is what is happening. You can find that copy of the Pulse inside the Standard, and you can read what is enlisted there to get updated. Now, straight into the Star newspaper. Allow me to touch on the Star newspaper. ANC left a shell after Raila raids Mudavadi. We are told that Odinga's promises bigger campaign machine that will dwarf Musalia and Alliance and Ruto Alliance. And this is a story on page 4. And we are told that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, he's, has taken a six-day break from politics to try and craft themselves, to try and, cause a dwarf into the Musalia and Ruto Alliance. And that is what is happening on page 1 of the Star, and extended on page 4 and 5. And below the front page of the Star, as you can see on your screen, Wipers Kalonzo Musyoka and Kanu Gideon Moi reignite Oka campaigns in Kitui. And we are told here that the gentlemen within the One Kenya Alliance have said that despite the ANC party leader and the Ford Kenya party leader having to veer off from One Kenya Alliance, they will stay within the One Kenya Alliance, and they will get into the ballot come August 9th. And this is what is happening on the front page of the Star as well. And being on Friday, the Star gives out a pullout concerning matters of siasa. And in a Ruto-Raila race, DP will win in first round, says Sakaja. And this is what is happening on the siasa pullout, page 12 and 13 of the same newspaper. You can check that out and read some of the few reasons that the current Senator for Nairobi County is explaining in relation to how he feels the pact between ANC and the UDA will take the day come August 9th. So those are some of the few stories enlisted on the front page of the Star. Now, let me touch on what is also making headline on the People's Daily. All set for battle of coalitions. We are told that all is set for the battle of coalitions as Uhuru signs the political parties bill into law. And there's a picture there showing you President Uhuru Kenyatta in company of others at State House, the likes of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, and the Speaker of the Senate, Kenneth Lusaka, and President Uhuru Kenyatta has ascended into the political parties amendment bill into law. And the bill now has opened the space of formation of coalitions. And there is quite an explainer below there on the highlights as to what that bill means going forward in relation to the August polls. State gives 30 days waiver to vacate order, and that is on page 5. And on page 7, 2 held over death of soccer fanatic, and that is what is on page 7. I had explained that earlier. And private hospitals now shut out NHIF members, and that is what is happening on page 6 of the People's Daily. And last but not least, Raila terms Mudavadi, Wetangula as betrayers. and this is the ODM leader, has now downplayed the decisions of Musalia and Weta to quit from Oka, says the move is insignificant. How so is that? Grab your copy on page 2 of the People's Daily. You can understand more about whatever Raila was speaking. Now, the last newspaper, that is the Taifa Leo. This is the Swahili newspaper that we are having in the country, and we must touch a little bit concerning some of the few articles explained. And nikitazama kwenye ukurasa wa mbele, mpenzi mtazamaji, hapa kilichonakiliwa ni kwamba Kalonzo sasa apanda bei. Unaambiwa kwamba mrengo wa Azimio na Kenya Kwanza ya mhitaji ili kuhakikisha kura milioni 2 za Ukambani. Unaambiwa kwamba mistari ya nani itakubaliwa ili kuweza kumuingiza Kalonzo Musyoka kwenye upande wake. Unaambiwa kwamba Gavana Ngilu amemuhimiza kinara wa Wiper kujiunga na mrengo wa Azimio. Na Ruto katika ziara zake Ukambani amsihi Musyoka shirikiane naye. Pamoja na hilo, Mutula Kilonzo Jr. amtaja makamu wa rais wa zamani kama jiwe lililokataliwa na wajenzi. Ni taarifa hiyo katika ukurasa wa kwanza na ikaendelezwa katika ukurasa wa pili. Unaambiwa kwamba baada ya kuchukuliwa kama asiyekuwa na thamani ya kutosha kisiasa kwa muda, kinara wa Wiper sasa anahitajika kwa hali na mali, kila mrengo ukimmezea mate katika juhudi za kutimiza ndoto ya kushinda urais mnamo Agosti 9. Katika ukurasa wa 5, tume ya ardhi NLC yazuiwa na mahakama ya Mombasa kununua ardhi hewa yenye thamani ya zaidi ya nusu bilioni. Ni taarifa hiyo katika ukurasa wa 5. Na kwenye habari za tanzia katika ukurasa wa 18 ni kwamba tasnia ya michezo nchini yaomboleza baada ya shabiki nambari 1 Isaac Juma kuuawa kinyama nyumbani kwake Mumias usiku wa kuamkia jana. Na miongoni mwa viongozi wa kitaifa waliomwomboleza mwenda zake ni pamoja na kiongozi wa chama cha ODM Raila Odinga, pamoja na naibu rais William Ruto, na pia wizara ya michezo. Na ni taarifa iliyoshtua wengi, lakini kwa sasa uchunguzi unaendelea, japo watu wawili wanazuiliwa na watakuwa wanahojiwa kutokana na kile ambacho kiliweza kufanyika. Na kwenye ukurasa wa 4 ni kwamba wakaazi walalama baada ya kaunti kuwataka wahame ili nyumba za kisasa ziweze kujengwa katika maeneo ya Likoni. Ni mradi wa ujenzi wa nyumba za kisasa kule Likoni ambao tayari michakato ishaanza, na wanachukua maoni kutoka kwa wakaazi na wananchi katika eneo hilo kuhusiana na mradi huo. Na taarifa hiyo imo katika ukurasa wa 4. Na vile vile katika ukurasa huo wa 4 ni kwamba majaji kupewa ulinzi zaidi baada ya hakimu kuuawa na watu wanaotajwa kuwa magaidi katika kaunti ya Lamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, taarifa hiyo katika kaunti ya Lamu ukurasa wa 4 ndio inanipeleka mimi kwenye pumziko la kwanza hapa, ikiwa zimekatika dakika 32 baada ya saa 1. Na ningependa kukukumbusha tu kwamba mjadala wetu wa siku ya leo utakuwa kuhusiana na msimu wa mirengo, na hii inatokana pia na kwamba Rais Uhuru Kenyatta tayari ashatia saini kwenye mswada ule uliopaniwa kufanyia marekebisho kwenye vyama vya kisiasa ambao utapelekea kuundwa kwa mirengo. Je, ni mrengo upi ambao upo na ajenda zitakaomfaa mwananchi? Na kutokana na mirengo hii mitatu ambayo tayari imeweza kuonekana katika taifa letu la Kenya, ni mrengo upi haswa unaoonekana kuwa na uwezo wa kutoa ushindi Agosti 9? Ndio mada na maswali ambayo tutaweza kuuliza wageni wangu ndani ya studio ambao tayari wameshafika, na nitakuwa najumuika nao waweze kutueleza yale ambao wanadhani kutokana na hali halisi ya msimu huu wa mirengo. Na wa kwanza nitakayezungumza naye ni Francis Almond ambaye ni kijana kutoka katika chama cha ANC. Atakuwa ananieleza haswa yeye wakati alikuwa kule Bomas ni nini haswa alichokizoa na kwa nini anahisi kwamba mrengo huo upo na nafasi bora ya kutoa ushindi. na pia nitakuwa nazungumza naye Bwana Gordon anayetokea katika chama cha ODM. Atakuwa ananieleza pia kutokana na wao kuwa katika muungano wa Azimio ni nini haswa wanachokizungumzia ndani ya Azimio, na pamoja na hivyo kwa nini anahisi kwamba Azimio ni mrengo ambao utatoa ushindi mwaka huu kwenye uchaguzi wa Agosti 9. Mazungumzo hayo yatakuwa nakujia mbashara kupitia runinga yako ama pia kwenye mitandao ya kijamii haswa pale Facebook. Lakini kwa sasa niruhusu mimi pamoja na mtafsiri wangu wa ishara Bwana Felix Otieno tuweze kuchukua mapumziko mafupi. Tutakuwa tunarudi muda usio